Jerry Lee Lewis. Do you know which pianist set his piano on fire just to mess with Chuck Berry? Here at the Rock Museum in Barcelona, we'll give you a few hints. He played the piano with his feet, but no, he wasn't Little Richard. He once tried to storm Elvis's house with a gun to prove who the real king was. And when rock and roll cast him out, country music took him in and turned him into a star all over again. All right, here's the final clue. In England, he was canceled for marrying his 13-year-old cousin. Yes, indeed, Jerry Lee Lewis, the pianist known as the Killer, who on November 3rd, 1957, released Great Balls of Fire, the song that turned him into a star and into a full-blown force of nature. That Great Ball of Fire was actually written by Otis Blackwell and Jack Hammer, though Jerry Lee made it entirely his own through sheer combustion. Recorded at Sun Records with Sam Phillips at the controls, that runaway piano and that voice on the verge of setting the studio ablaze announced something new. Rock and roll was no longer teenage mischief. It was dynamite. Jerry Lee came from Louisiana, and his piano playing owed as much to the church as it did to hell. He drew inspiration from Fats Domino, Little Richard, and by extension, the forgotten Esquerita. He took their rhythm and theatrics, but what he did was even wilder. He played standing up, climbed onto the keyboard, kicked away the stool, and, according to legend, one night splashed his piano with gasoline and lit it on fire just to steal the show from Chuck Berry, who was set to play after him. They say Berry didn't take it well and never forgave him. His nickname was the Killer, and although he arrived 2 years too late to be counted among rock and roll's founding fathers, he was in truth one of its essential pillars. At Sun Records, alongside Elvis, Johnny Cash, and Carl Perkins, he was part of the legendary $1 Million Quartet, an improvised session that distilled the very DNA of the genre. But Jerry Lee Lewis wasn't content with just playing. He wanted to devour everything, including his own reputation. In 1958, during his British tour, the press discovered that his wife, Myra Gale Brown, was his cousin, and that she was only 13 years old. Scandal erupted, cancellations followed, and his career collapsed almost overnight. Then came the excesses, the accidental shooting of one of his musicians, and even an enraged visit to Graceland to challenge Elvis for the rock and roll crown. "Who's the real king?" he allegedly shouted, pistol in the glove compartment. And yet, Jerry Lee Lewis survived. When rock turned away from him, country music embraced him and honored him as one of its great interpreters. What he had was real fire, raw energy, the perfect image of rock and roll before it learned to behave. He left this world on October 28th, 2022, and some say that if the devil plays piano today, it's because he definitely learned from him.